At first, they called him the savior of a nation. He was a dictator that actually ruled millions of people. But he ruled by manipulation, pitting citizens against citizens and hoarding wealth for himself. My name is Kamala Hurley. I'm an evidential medium that loves uncovering hidden truths, and this is the past life reading of Donald Trump. And as I opened up this reading, the first thing that I saw was a long red robe. It had heavy trim, it had gold embroidery. There was also like a lion or an eagle embroidered across the chest. There was also a lot of burnished gold, and he wore a crown that was made of rubies and emeralds. And he also wore sort of like what looked like armor, but it wasn't the kind that would actually protect you in battle. So it's almost sort of like these false symbols that this past life started to appear to me as. Really, the weight of the outfit that I saw first represented ego. And then I came to the era where I saw this man standing. And what came through is Rome, like 40 AD. And what I saw in this past life of Donald Trump was that he was a Roman emperor, and that he had rose to power quite greatly. And it's interesting because as I started to fact check my own reading, I actually realized his past life was as the Roman Emperor Caligula. And it's really interesting because Caligula actually rose to greatness and prominence quickly. But just as quickly as he rose, he also descended into madness, cruelty, and chaos. He became obsessed with personal power and worship by the people, many times demanding that he was treated like a living god. In fact, with this Roman emperor in 40 AD, he actually used the government for his own personal enrichment. He weaponized the army and the law for his own personal vendettas, and he engaged in endless spectacle where he spoke. And he really believed that he was, what would we say, invincible. That was until his own inner circle assassinated him. So in that past life where I see Donald Trump, he steps into this life and he carries the soul wound of believing that he is the energy of the state, meaning that he's confusing his ego with the destiny of a nation itself. And I believe that one of the things that he's meant to overcome is understanding that people don't just exist to glorify him. And the similarities between Caligula and Donald Trump is that they both obsessed and demanded loyalty from anyone that was in the periphery circles of him. There was the abuse of power, we could say, between both Donald Trump and Caligula, such as the attempt to militarize the US government. It was the same way that Caligula militarized the Roman government. The public spectacles of like lavish games, parties, and appearances is something that Donald Trump and Caligula, his past life, have in common. So I actually believe that Donald Trump is experiencing a repetitive karmic life. It's almost like the same soul and the same lesson. And instead of a crown, it's a red hat with embroidery. Instead of a palace, it's the White House and a golf course. And he has to choose truth over control. But I also feel that there's a collective lesson as well. We have to understand that we are not powerless. We have to understand if we will follow fear or if we will choose to rise up and break a cycle. So I think that his true soul lesson in this life is to actually learn how to rule with humility and not domination. That love is a type of strength, and that fear and ruling from fear is weakness. And that being seen is not the same thing as being adored. So I think he has to continue to work through the responsibility of influence, learning that all beings are sparks of the same divinity. He's definitely got to heal the inner child wound, which is connected to his deep desire to be admired. It's kind of why all of these aspects that we've moved through in 2025 never seem to really satisfy him. And it's always moving from one thing to the next because of that inner child wound that needs to actually understand what genuine adoration and love is. And that's more of an inside job. So in the past life of Donald Trump, Caligula actually died of betrayal by the people that he thought were keeping him safe. And when loyalty is demanded and not earned, these things happen. So Trump's karmic mirror is at a critical point where he should really observe how terrifyingly close his past life is with the current life that he's experiencing. Because history doesn't repeat itself, souls repeat. And the question really isn't whether Trump will fall, it's a matter of will he break that karmic cycle. Because Caligula died by the blade of the people of his inner circle. And I feel that Trump is walking a very narrow line, very fine line, one in which a reckoning might be coming. Because really it's not about the past, it's about his future. It's a test for a soul as well as a nation, as well as the world. Power, collapse, silence. Trump's soul has worn the crown before, but the question is, will it end the same? Let me know in the comments what you think, and make sure you hit the follow button so you can hear more of my stories about past lives.